Hello and welcome to the Modern Denture channel. My name's Simon Miles. I'm a clinical dental technician. This is my first ever video on this channel, so excuse me if I seem a little bit nervous. I'm out of my comfort zone a bit. The reason I'm setting up this channel is because I feel like I've got a lot to share in terms of making dentures. So this whole channel really is designed to help other CDTs, dental technicians, especially dentists, to get a better understanding of what's involved in the whole process of making dentures. As a clinical dental technician, obviously I've got the insight of what happens in the laboratory and what happens in the dental practice when providing the dentures. What I would like to do with this channel is share my journey, share my thoughts, share what it is that I have learned over the years making dentures, providing dentures, the pitfalls, the difficulties, how I overcome them, to just generate a little bit of discussion. What I think I've learned, the number one thing that I've learned with making dentures, the most important thing, is communication. And that is why I'm setting up this channel, for you guys to get a bit more communication going. Typically, when I'm communicating with my laboratory, my technician, whoever's doing my work, if they don't understand what I want, then there's going to be problems. When the technician doesn't understand exactly what it is that you want, they just won't be able to provide a very good service for you. All members are responsible to keep that communication going. I've seen over the years is a huge disconnect between dental technicians and dentists. Ultimately, the person that pays the price for that is our patients. So this is all about building a channel, putting out videos to get that communication going. The best way to do things. For example, I very, very rarely use receipts, and yet I would say the vast majority of my partial dentures are metal frame dentures. There's a reason why I don't use receipts. In fact, that would probably be a good subject for my first proper video. I'll say proper video, how I overcome that problem of stability and things like that. Another good example would be that these skeletal frames that open up the lingual side of the denture to allow saliva flow, to keep all the teeth nice and healthy when there's a perio problem. I have an issue with that as well. In those sort of situations, I close the frame in. Maybe that's considered a big no-no for a lot of people watching this, and you'll want to know why I would do that. My goals long term, not just doing the YouTube channel, but setting up some sort of network where everybody can get involved and that we can bring the denture provision side of dentistry up to a better standard than it is at the moment. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of dentists out there that are just doing incredible, phenomenal work, and for those dentists, I think we'll probably still have a lot of things that they can learn from me, but also that I can learn from them. I would like to ultimately take all my knowledge and condense it down into some sort of course that you guys can purchase and learn from, basically, to get better at the craft in which we are taking part in. I guess what I'd like to know is if that's something that you guys would be interested in. So over the next year or so, I guess I'll be just making these videos and uploading them at some point. If it's something that you guys would be interested in, you know, those real deep dives into all those difficult parts of making dentures. For example, when I'd use a special tray that has holes in it as opposed to using a special tray that doesn't have holes in it, when I would use an alginate impression material over a silicone impression material, how I would take my silicone impressions when I know I've got a patient that has a really severe gag reflex, or if they've got mobile teeth or something like that, when I notice that some clinicians will steer away from silicone altogether and just try and do everything with alginate, and they're getting okay results. But I very, very rarely construct a denture on a model that's from an alginate impression. And again, these are things that I'd love to go into more detail through this channel and get your guys' thoughts on what I'm doing, and whether it's the right thing to be doing, and whether I should be changing the way that I do things, or in fact whether what I'm doing is working and therefore it may be something that you can adopt to improve what you're doing. Okay, well, thanks for watching. If this is something that you think you might be interested in, obviously subscribe, like. I hate that, listening to that all the time. Subscribe and like. If you do think that you're going to find this interesting, please subscribe. Share it with other dentists or technicians, whoever you know that might find this interesting, that have an interest in making dentures and want to get better at it. Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.